Donald Trump Jr.
I don't snort cocaine.
I was ready. On speed dial, he is very upset with his bestie, maybe soon to be former bestie. And the reason just might shock you. I'll leave you for a second on that cliffhanger, because I should remind you that the corruption the Trump family is engaging in is particularly rich because Don Jr. spent so much time railing against Hunter Biden for purportedly benefiting off of his name, and now Don Jr.'s doing it to a degree Hunter Biden never could have dreamed of. You remember this?
Luckily, I don't snort cocaine.
Joe Biden's son, Hunter, is one of the most unethical humans in political history.
He is a criminal. He was doing things illegally. There's the emails. There's photographs. There's wire transfers. There's CCP money going to Biden's grandchildren. I wish my name was Hunter Biden. I could go abroad, make millions off of my father's presidency.
Hunter Biden, who magically became a businessman when his father took office.
Imagine if it was Don Jr. smoking crack with prostitutes.
So he would always say that, I hate Hunter Biden. Imagine if I were the one smoking crack with prostitutes. Imagine if I could make all of that money. Imagine if I could do the cocaine he did. I hate him. What if I want to do that. Oh, so jealous. Sort of that energy, right? He was very upset. Well, now he's mad at his, as the Daily Beast is describing him, rogue BFF for doing exactly what Don Jr.'s doing. So this is a fascinating one. Donald Trump Jr. had his lawyer send a cease and desist letter out to an old pal who it seems can't stop name dropping him at business meetings around the world. And the story goes that this guy, Gentry Beach, you can't make this stuff up. You just can't. Gentry Beach. You got Paula White, you got Robert Fuhrer, and now you have Gentry Beach. And that was a reference to the last segment if you're watching this video. And he was a college friend of Trump's and is going around, and I think he's Don Jr.'s the godfather of Gentry Beach's beach kids. And and Beach is going around selling the Trump brand, using his connections to Don Jr., flashing texts. This is all the stuff they were accusing Hunter Biden of doing. And in some cases, Hunter Biden was being stupid and bad. But then they weren't able to connect it to Joe Biden. Okay, we explained that. But going around flashing texts of Don Jr. and going, you could get a lot of investment here, and acting like he's speaking for the Trump administration, acting like he's speaking for Don Jr. to secure his own business deals, which is very icky, and exactly what Don Jr. is doing all the time is pretending like he speaks for the Trump administration or leveraging his father for his own business deals. Among those deals are reportedly several mining concessions in the Democratic Republic of Congo, luxury real estate developments in Pakistan, and a colossal railway project in Abu Dhabi, and stakes in Europe's Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Goodness, been a busy Beach. But the tour has apparently left officials baffled as to how far Beach's self-styled campaign of economic diplomacy actually represents the interests of the Trump administration. And Trump Jr. does not appear to be looking kindly on any of this, apparently sending that legal letter. And then you have this. Beach expects his investment firm to be one of those companies. He has no official title or State Department designation, and says he's never invoked the Trump family or the Trump administration's business dealing. Instead, he says he represents himself, whatever. But you have these stories about Beach regularly touring Central Africa, trying to purchase mining concessions as a part of an economic diplomacy campaign he credited to President Trump. Beach had let it be known he was friends with Trump Jr., showing what senior Congolese official describes as text messages with the U.S. president's eldest son and their photos together. Did he speak for the Trump administration? They were asking themselves. And then the Pakistan government had been asking the same question. Beach was doing the same thing for them. And I do find that to be low character. Leveraging someone else's name. I know this is what a bunch of business people do, but especially making it seem like, wait, if we say no to this deal, is the Trump administration going to be mad at us? Or can we get more favorable treatment from them if we say yes? Because this guy's acted like he speaks for them when he doesn't. extremely low character, and exactly the way that the Trump family is getting so much richer is constantly leveraging that same exact dynamic. It's a little different because he's not a family member, but it's honestly more corrupt to know that people see you're Don Jr. and you're going around wanting things, or Eric Trump, and then to leverage that for your business deals. And so I don't know if Don Jr. has a place to be upset. And on this whole Trump family corruption, let me remind you of Eric Trump being confronted on this UAE deal where it was chips that UAE really wanted, access to US-made advanced computer chips, and there were restrictions on them. But then the UAE invested a bunch of money in Trump's crypto venture, and then those restrictions disappeared and they got what they wanted. And when Joe Kernan, actually I explain it in this flashback. This clip made me nauseous. And I want to play it for you. There is some important context, but y'all know Joe Kernan on CNBC. He's definitely MAGA aligned, but not always. He's not a dogma guy, but he is more to the right. And what plays out with him and Eric Trump here is the worst of how a host can handle a powerful, in this case, family member involved in the family business of the president. Before playing it for you, where Kern seems to take a little what? Why did it make me laugh so much when I said it? When he looks like he made a little potty break during his okay, so that was me. Hi me. Good job. Good highbrow content. But the reason I say that is because Kernan's like so nervous to ask the question that you'll see in the second part of the flashback. While you watch it, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate the show. And my point in reminding you of this is that the Trump brothers are the last people who can be upset about the Trump name being leveraged and the Trump administration's power being leveraged for business deals, because that's what they're doing all day long, and that's how they're getting so much richer. So here's Eric Trump being asked about this. Joe Kernan seems so nervous, struggling to get the question out and going like, I know it's not like surely corrupt. It's not, I mean, well, you know, it's just, I have to, people say, my producer wants me to, and takes a little poopy.
This is today, Eric, two big deals, and I just, you know, I'm sure you hear about this all the time. You've got a way, obviously, of explaining that. I mean, you've thought about that when you talk to the president about this, or when Don talks about some of his investments, or with Mr. Witkoff as well. In this one, they're talking about the UAE investing some money at the same time that
some money? Is that how we're defining it? Some money? UAE invest some money, you know, something like to something, some money.
At the same time that they were granted access to some chips, and not saying it's related, but it could be. You're going to see this again and again in mainstream media in terms of a conflict of interest between the president and his position and his family being able to do so well in crypto.
Yeah. Joe, how long have I been sitting at this table? Like 20-something years, meaning I've been doing this with you guys for a very long time.
Yep.
You know, we're far from Hunter Biden, right? The guys out there are selling.
That's what people are. Right. People say all presidents' sons do these things.
Okay. The guys out there selling finger art, right? You know, I've run one of the great hospitality companies, you know, anywhere in the world. You know, we went through hell. Believe me, my father's the first guy who hasn't made money off of the presidency. In fact, you know, if I were to send you a tally of our legal bills over the last
and the brand, the Trump brand probably got obvious.
We've always been, you know, serial capitalists. We've always had companies, and honestly, crypto came out of an
serial capitalist. That sounds kind of aggressive. Serial capitalists, cool. Serial? How many people have you capitalized? Gosh.
You know, serial capitalists. We've always had companies, and honestly, crypto came out of a necessity that we were debanked by everybody, and we needed to find a new way. And so I couldn't be more proud of American Bitcoin. We're obviously ringing the bell right in this room in, you know, a couple of minutes, and you know, it's going to be an amazing venture. I think we're going to do Bitcoin. I think we're going to do cryptocurrency better than anyone. We've truly built one of the great companies, one of the great crypto companies. And by the way, one thing, America's got to lead the way in it. I mean, I watch in age.
Now, I know this is going to be tripling up on this criticism, and the main part should be criticizing the Trump family, but I can't move on from that Joe Kernan thing. How do you seem so guilty to ask an obvious question, which was, if not a quid pro quo, the most brazen conflict of interest ever? And this happening on multiple fronts. All the countries Trump's dealing with. Oh, now they have all these big deals with Trump's companies. Let me read you the transcript of what Joe Kernan asked Eric Trump. This is today, Eric, 2 big deals entered, and yeah, just I'm sure you hear about this all the time. You've got a way, obviously, of explaining that. I mean, you've thought about when you talk to the president about this, or when Don talks about some of his investments, or with Mr. Witkoff as well. And this one, talk about the UAE investing some money at the same time that they were granted access to some chips. And not saying it's related, but it could be. You're going to see this again and again in mainstream media in terms of conflict of interest between the president in his position and his family being able to do so well in crypto. Hey, you just got a huge windfall from the UAE. And then they got a huge benefit from the US government? How does that not stink of corruption, Eric? Boom. I revised it. I put that into ChatGPT and said, is this coherent? And it said no. Why it's incoherent: fragmented syntax, shifting subjects mid-sentence, nonlinear logic, ambiguous references, contradictory phrasing, disfluent delivery. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was 7 out of 10 incoherence. And 10 would be a babbling baby. It just bothers me so much that hosts who are supposed to do journalism would feel that guilty about doing journalism, about confronting the guy who's using his dad's position in office to make them all so much more wealthy. And then zooming back, or bringing ourselves back to the subject of this, I love, actually, this sounds really wrong, a little part of me loves that Gentry Beach is doing to the Trump family what the Trump family's doing to itself nonstop. And Don Jr. is going, hey, whoa, you can't run around using my dad's name. That's for me.